Hello, owls and ravens, and thank you for tuning in to Thought Space, a soft-spoken vlog where I talk about whatever chaotic, random, simple, childish thing that pops into my nonsensical brain and whatever else I can come up with. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy my slow descent into chaos and dreams. Okay, so if you are a tabletop role-playing fan, you've probably heard of Dungeons and Dragons. And if you're a Dungeons and Dragons fan, you probably are aware of this whole OGL situation, the Open Gaming License situation, where Wizard of the Coast was trying to push this new Open Gaming License that was a little bit sketchy, for lack of a better word, and they kept on having very sus actions, motivations, and eventually they put out a new one that seemed a lot less sus, but some people still feel like something is up. They're still suspicious of Wizard of the Coast, while others think that the community has won, D&D is saved. Now, if you are here thinking that I'm about to talk about this entire situation, no, I'm not. There's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons creators who will definitely be covering this, who probably can explain this whole situation and what it means for the community a lot better than I can. The reason I even mention this is because it is important. Dungeons and Dragons is a very big part of the tabletop community. It's huge, so huge that most people, or a percentage of people, will refer to tabletop games as Dungeons and Dragons. And that's no small feat. The thing is, regardless of what happens to Dungeons and Dragons because of Wizard of the Coast, because of their action, whether they become more strict with their open gaming license or they keep the community as wonderful and amazing as it is, it won't stop tabletop role-playing games. Tabletop role-playing games might take a hit, but that will only slow us down temporarily. There's a lot of cool tabletop role-playing games out there, like City of Mist, Forge in the Dark, Savage World, and even Pathfinder, which is kind of the older D&D. And don't forget, we have games like Fate, Quest, and ICRPG, which are very cool, simple play games that could probably emulate your D&D campaigns. Now, the thing is, like, I know is worrisome, and no, you're like, I kind of don't want to learn a new system. I get that, because first off, you've already learned Dungeons and Dragons, and second off, well, Dungeons and Dragons has a lot of resources. I mean a lot. Probably more resources than any other tabletop role-playing game. Especially with D&D and Beyond, the large amount of app selection of character creators that you can find on your iPhone, your Android, or whatever phone you have, that will allow you to make a character without even knowing the rules. I get that. That's like real easy, real quick, and even the simplest TTRPG kind of rulebook, which is like maybe 25 page, even one page, might not be as quick as just going on your phone and clicking, I want this, that, this, and that, and then having it track you for each level. But it is not as daunting as you might think. Even 300-page books can be broken down into bite-sized pieces for you to take in within a few minutes. That's why I'm going to be doing my part to spread and help other people kind of broaden their horizon in this wonderful hobby, this wonderful pastime, this wonderful lifestyle, you know? You see, I love tabletop games, and I think there are a lot of cool ones that are not just Dungeons and Dragons. I think there are a lot of cool tabletop games that are not getting that much attention, like Burning Hearts Forever or Fabula Ultima, or even some bigger name games that do have some weight behind them but are still not getting a lot of attention, such as Old School Essential or even Die TTRPG, which is a super cool kind of crazy mechanical tabletop game based on a comic about kids going into a tabletop game. So yeah, it's kind of whacked, but it's awesome. And there are a lot of games that we're just skimming over because, again, it's a little bit overwhelming. There's not that many resources. They either have 100 pages, 200 pages, and that's a lot to read. And that can be a little overwhelming, and I get that. So that's why I want to start a series where I talk about it, called Let's Talk About It. It will cover a various of TTRPGs that I find interesting, giving overviews and breaking it down to the base components and simplifying it so it would be easier to jump into the game even if you just skim through the rule books. With that being said, it won't be a review channel. I won't be reviewing these games. I won't be like giving them a rating, breaking them down to their design flaws and all of that. I'm just going through games that I found really interesting, that I want to share, that I want to recommend, and helping you guys by breaking them down to simplify what the game is about, how to play the game, so that when you pick up this rulebook, that you don't have to go through all 300 pages. You just have to skim to the parts that you might need, and you can pick up the game in like 5 minutes or so. Make a character, go in. It might be a little messy, but at least you don't have to spend like an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours trying to figure out what you're doing. I know I have done that a lot, and there are a lot of TTRPGs I wish I had this little whole intro thing that I wish I could get this little intro video on. I've come across a lot of indie TTRPGs where I really would have appreciated some kind of intro video out there. So I'm doing my part by making intro videos for TTRPGs that I find real cool. But I thought to myself, why stop there? Because, you know, another thing that makes TTRPGs kind of really, really cool is the mechanics. There's a lot of cool mechanics out there that are pretty epic. I know a lot of us probably know about the advantage system, which is awesome, or nat 20s, which are pretty cool when you get that awesome crit, you know? But how many of us actually know about exploding dice if you're still in still in the D&D waters and haven't ventured far out? Which I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to stick with Dungeons and Dragons. I just want to expand the hobby and help individuals who want to try out something new, who want to see these new tabletop games but feel just a little bit overwhelmed, you know? So we have exploding dice. We have dice stats, where stats are not just numbers, they're actually one of the various types of dice. We have the clock system, which I find really cool, and we have dice classes, which is kind of new with the whole die TTRPG system that came out. There are tag systems as well, which can be pretty fun, and not to mention the whole thing that runs the philosophy of Powered by the Apocalypse. So I'll be covering those mechanics, breaking them down, putting them into their own little bite-sized pieces as well, so that even if I don't cover a particular TTRPG, at least you have a strong knowledge of the various different mechanics, and you can go into that system and quickly recognize that, hey, this is very similar to this mechanic. I know these types of mechanics, so it's a lot less daunting when you know like the little skeleton of the system as well. And you know, I genuinely just want to help out, want to see the community grow, even with or without D&D. I feel like this is a good community and will thrive regardless of what happens to the juggernaut, the lead, the king of tabletop games currently. With that being said, the main reason I am doing this, the main reason I really want to spread the word out is not because of this whole fiasco that's happening with Wizard of the Coast. It's because I came across a extremely cool tabletop game called Fabula Ultima, which is like a tabletop game that genuinely tries to emulate the JRPG console setting, but in a very simple, easy to do way. So it's a simple system, lightweight system with some medium complex, not a lot of crunch, but it does have enough to have very characters, nice structures, and can very much feel like Final Fantasy 4 or 5. It's a cool game, and I just want more people to know about it. But as I was thinking that, I was thinking I want more people to know about this game. I realized there are a lot of cool games that I genuinely want to share with more people. So that's how Let's Talk About It was essentially born. And that's what I'll be doing on my channel. I'll be still doing these little soft-spoken vlog things, but I'm going to be doing Let's Talk About It too, and diving a little bit more into the tabletop role-playing space. I also have a City of Mist series coming up, not an actual play, just a little series for various animes in City of Mist, and you're probably thinking, what is he gonna do with that? But if you really want to find out, keep your eyes open for some City of Mist content, so you guys can check that out, be entertained, find out what City of Mist is, and maybe be tempted to go play it. And stick around for when I have the first episode of Let's Talk About It and we cover Fabula Ultima, because it is a very cool, fun, epic game. So thank you for tuning in. I hope you had a chill time. I hope it was relaxing, and I hope it was entertaining. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If not, make a comment. Tell me what I need to improve. Just interact however you feel like interacting. And if you want to subscribe, I'll be pretty thankful for that. Anyways, I gotta go. Gotta make myself some food. So, guys, remember, vibe with the chaos.